The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at TessaTNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive. But we break on command 'cause women rule the world. Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Good evening, Spaced Out Radio. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the snowy rocky tops of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 419.9 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, December 16th, Monday, December 17th for those of you on the East Coast and beyond, and this is Spaced Out Radio. I hope you guys had a rockin' weekend, an awesome day, and an even better evening. I am your host, TessaTNT, and I am live tonight broadcasting from cold and chilly Bayfield, Colorado. We are 150,000 strong nightly on Spaced Out Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, 99.1 FM, QEE 107.7 FM in Noonan, Georgia, 107.7 FM, UPRN, Louisiana, Revolution Radio, as well as Deep Talk Radio, which you can find at deeptalkradio.com. Don't forget to head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can peruse the Spaced Out Radio store and read the Encounter Online dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. So tonight, we were going to have Terra Goens on, and we were going to talk about the High Strangeness in the Four Corners area. And just in case she is able to come on, she said she got a new job, and it totally slipped her mind. But Terra is a paranormal investigator, and she has had many hauntings and experienced and seen many strange things, such as skinwalkers, ghosts. She's had out-of-body experiences and time loops. But at the moment, she is not on the line. And I'm going to say hello to everyone in the chat room really quick. Hello there, guys and gals. Okay, so we'll be getting a hold of her in about 45 minutes. But in the meantime, I wanted to touch on some of the high strangeness that I've experienced in this area. It all started when I moved here in the 4th grade, and I moved to Cortez, Colorado, which is near Sleeping Ute Mountain, as well as Mesa Verde National Park, which is a place where there's Anasazi ruins, all kinds of awesome, amazing things. There's Hovenweep National Park that has ruins. There's so many different crazy and integral things in the area. But along with that comes a lot of different sightings, hauntings, whether it be paranormal, alien, UFO, so on and so forth. And oh, I saw Nomi in the chat room. Yo, Tessa Gnome Show. And actually on my Facebook Live, I wore my well, it's an elf hat, but I call it my gnome hat for the Tessa Gnome Show. And that was for Ad Gnome, but I forgot to tag him in that. So I'm gonna try to loosen my microphone here really quick so it gives me an opportunity to better speak with you guys. So in the Four Corners area, my high strangeness all began at an early age. Like I said, I was in 4th grade. One of our field trips was going to Mesa Verde National Park, which I'd been several times with my uncle. Like, he'd take us all the time up there, and it was a really amazing experience. But one of my mother's last trips was out to Colorado, and she actually went to Denver for a conference, and then she went to Mesa Verde. After visiting Mount Evans in the Denver area, she went to Mesa Verde, and she went down into one of the kivas, and she came up as white as a sheet, and my dad was like, "What's wrong? What happened?" And she said that she had gone down in this hole, which is basically a structure built into the ground, and she said she came upon 3 medicine men who were doing some sort of ritual, and so she had interrupted it, and they were very angry at her, and they had cast some sort of spell on her or whatnot, perhaps a curse. But due to that, on the way home, she was in fear for her life. She felt like all the cars on the road were after her. Let me turn down my volume. It looks like I'm pegging out a little bit. She felt like all the cars on the road were after her. She was white-knuckling the steering wheel, basically, and she wrote my grandpa and told him how exactly she was going to die, when it was going to happen, and how she wanted her funeral. So, lo and behold, Adnome liked it. He said he saw it. He said it rocked. But when she got home, a verbal argument had ensued, and my grandpa was like, you should never talk like this. You should never say things like this. This isn't true. And she finally convinced them that it is true, and this was going to happen, and he needed to help her. And so he did. He ended up helping her plan her funeral. And as she had said, she passed away in a car accident right up the road from where we had lived at the time in Springdale, Arkansas. And she, I could just, I don't know, I want to say I could just imagine the experience and how she felt, but I really can't. I mean, I feared for my life until the age of 33, and then after I reached that peak in my life, I was at ease because I knew the curse was over and it would no longer be affecting me. So when I went as a child on a field trip to Mesa Verde National Park, I was scared beyond belief. I was afraid of what I was going to walk in on, what I was going to see, and nothing happened. So that was good. It was a good experience. Good time had with my classmates. Well, that being said, several different things have happened in this area. At the Rockaway Motel right up the road from where we lived, this really nice lady was murdered, and we had received a phone call from someone saying, "You're the next victim on the victims list, so F you," and different crazy things happening around our house. And I think it was just one of the kids from my school messing with us. But then when it comes to the paranormal, like I had said before on other shows, at the age of 8, I was baptized into the LDS church. So after that, for a while, I didn't have a lot of paranormal experiences. I was still up all night, every night, because I had grown up to expect something to happen all the time. And when nothing did for years and years, I was very surprised. But I was still never at ease because I just always expected it to happen. I ended up moving from my bedroom downstairs to the apartment that was upstairs, and it was a nice little bedroom with its own bathroom, and it had a little kitchen attached, and there was a staircase on the outside of my bedroom, and every night this man would just stand at my doorway and just stare at me. So that was pretty freaky. And that was around the age of 13 when things started to happen again. I would go to the store at night, and on my way home, there would be these shadow figures darting in and out of shadows following me, and I'd hear a voice calling my name, and I know it was my mother's voice. She'd be calling me to the direction I needed to go. So that was cool that she was looking out for me and trying to guide me. And Jason's saying that he knows someone who had a hellbound experience in the Four Corners, and I implore all of you guys, if you have stories of high strangeness, whether you're in the Four Corners area or wherever you may be in the universe, please call and share those with us. And the phone number for that is 970-335-9596, and I'd love to hear your stories and experiences. So after these shadow figures, I ended up moving out of my aunt and uncle's house because my dad finally came back. After my mom was killed, my dad took it really hard, and he had always been a pretty hardcore drinker, but after this had happened, he really took up drinking, started hanging out with not so nice people, ended up dating a prostitute who he had planned on marrying, but luckily never did. But I ended up moving in with him, and I lived with him for a year or two before I decided to move out on my own at the age of 15. And dating different boys and stuff. Around Halloween time and such, we'd go to different places. This boyfriend of mine, had Gnome saying, 1-800-TessaNOME show, call. And I'm going to put it here in the chat real quick. Hi, Bones. 970-335-9596. If you guys want to call in with your stories of high strangeness, whether it be ghosts, hauntings, UFOs, aliens, skinwalkers, I want to hear it. I want to share my stories with you, and I want to hear your stories. So feel free to call me. I'd love to hear from you guys. Yeah, don't mess with the Tessa. But this one particular boyfriend took me down to this house, and it was known as the House of Mirrors for some odd reason, and we go down there and we pull up, and generally I'm a pretty free spirit. I love to fly by the seat of my pants. I like to go investigate anywhere I have from the beginning of time as far as my time goes, but there's certain places where if I feel like there's a demonic or really dark presence, I won't even get out of the vehicle. And he took me to this house, and we pull up, and there's this dog sitting right next to the door, and nobody lives here. And this dog is just sitting there staring at us. He's not moving. He's not wagging his tail. He's not doing anything. He's just staring at us. And then my boyfriend at the time turns off the headlights. And I got so upset at him. I was like, why did you do that? Like, you're really freaking me out. Turns the lights back on, and the dog is gone. He's not there. So that was really freaky. Nothing really happened. I was like, you got to get me out of here right now. Like, something's wrong. Something's not right. Get me out of here right now. And then, let's see. There was another canyon there called McElmo Canyon. And you could go at night and look down in this canyon, and you'd see these different colored orb balls just flying around. You know, you'd have blue and pink, red, green, all kinds of different orbs just flying around, and I believe those were spirit orbs, and they were pretty interesting. They never approached us. They were just kind of like doing their own thing, and that was really interesting, and it always made me wonder, are these native spirits? What kind of spirits are these? As an adult, I moved away because everybody that lives in Cortez just wants to get the hell out of there. And so I was in an abusive relationship, which had started before I moved out of my dad's house. And, you know, when you're in an abusive relationship, they take you away from your friends, they take you away from your family, and you just feel like you have nobody there to help you. Even though people are there to help you, and if you are in an abusive relationship, just know that your family does love you, your friends do love you, and they just want the best for you. And if you want to get out of that situation, you can. But this brings me to the point of never say never, because every time I've said never, it's happened. And, I had always said I would never join the military, but I'm sitting there one day on the couch, kind of slunked in there, depressed, thinking about my life, how much it sucked, how much I didn't want to really live anymore. And I see this commercial for the Marine Corps, and it's the guy climbing this mesa, aka plateau, and you know, he gets to the top and stabs the sword into the stone, and then he's in a uniform, and he's a Marine, and I'm like, oh man, I need to join the military. That's my ticket out of this. And so I called around. I tried the Air Force, but there really wasn't anything nearby as far as recruiters and such. I went and talked to the Naval guy. I went and talked to the Marine Corps guy, and the Naval guy just started stalking me and stuff. Like, he'd show up unannounced, knocking on my door, and so I'm like, yeah, I'm not going there. This guy is too stalkerish, and he's really freaking me out. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat room, and Rano's cracking me up. I can't live with or without Nomu. But yeah, so I ended up joining the Marine Corps because, you know, I had been torn down to a certain extent, and I figured, why not tear myself down the rest of the way? And so I did. I never wanted to join the military. I didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in taking lives for, you know, for my government and whatnot, but I joined the military. I joined the Marine Corps because they tear you down and then they build you back up, and that's exactly what I needed. I needed to be torn down the rest of the way, which there really wasn't a long ways to go, and then built back up to, you know, the new me. And so I did that. I always said I'd never do it. So never say never. But it really was a blessing for me. It really was something that I really needed to do. I actually had an experience there while I was in the military. It was my first and only experience with the Ouija board. And there was this fella named Private Black, and he was actually doing training exercises, and it ended up getting ran over by a tank because he laid down in the road and they couldn't see him, and they ran him over. He was in the prone position looking out, but they weren't looking out for him. They couldn't see him where he was. And so he got killed during these exercises. And this was during combat training. I graduated boot camp, came home, did recruiter's assistance for a month because my arches were falling. I had issues with my feet. And then I went back to combat training, where I fractured the whole top of my foot by my jungle boots, just because, I don't know if it was lack of milk or what during my childhood, but ended up breaking my foot and going into MRP. Well, while in MRP, this Private Black, we get his Ouija board during Hurricane Bonnie. We're all locked down. We got mattresses and boards against the windows and all kinds of things going on, and we're just like super stoked because we don't have to do, you know, certain exercises and stupid stuff that you have to do, and these girls are playing with the Ouija board. And, you know, being raised LDS from the age of 8, I was like, I ain't messing with that. I've always been told not to do that. Or D&D, which I love D&D. I love role-playing and making up characters that sometimes die right away. Sometimes you live forever, but these girls are playing on it, and they're like, hey, you want to get on here? And like I said, my mom, she was killed by a drunk driver when I was 5, almost 6. And I was like, sure, I'll try it. So I get on there, and I'm like, can I talk to my mom? And it tells me no. And so I'm like, F you, I'm going to go take a shower. And I get out of the shower. I come back out. The girls are gone. The Ouija board is on my rack, and that's what they call a bed in the military, your rack. And I'm like, where'd everybody go? what's going on? And so I'm tempted again to try it. And so I get on there. Yeah, Jason, that's the commercial that I saw. He climbed up this plateau, he fought the fire monster, and then he stabbed the sword into the plateau, and then he was in this uniform, and it really inspired me to join the military. Just answering him in chat because I can't, type it as I'm talking to you guys right now. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll try it again. Well, I didn't know the rules of it. You're not supposed to get on a Ouija board alone. If you do get on the Ouija board, you're supposed to close it out by saying goodbye, so on and so forth. But, so I get on this Ouija board by myself. I'm like, can I talk to my mom? And all of a sudden, it starts moving slowly and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster to the point where I could probably let go of this thing. Let me finish telling the story, 830, and I'll be with you in just 1 second. But I get on this Ouija board by myself, and like I said, it just moves from very, very slow to faster, faster, faster. It starts naming off my brothers and sisters. Tell Gary, Greg, Kathy, John, your dad, I'm okay, everything's okay, I love them. And I was on there for a while asking her questions. How are you? Are you okay? She's great. She's been able to do so many things. She can fly. She can do whatever she wants. She can be wherever she wants, whenever she wants, like kind of in a blink of an eye. And I guess the girls came up to me and they're trying to get my attention, but I do not hear them. I don't feel them nudging at me. I don't hear them saying anything to me. And I was so excited. When I finally got off there, I was like, holy crap, these girls are trying to get my attention. They finally did, because my mom was gone. I call my dad the next day and I'm like, Dad, I talked to Mom and she wanted me to tell you the same thing she told me in the dream, basically, that she loved us and she's okay and everything's going to be okay. And then all the other things that she had told me, she could fly, she can go wherever she wants, whenever she wants. She's always with me when I need her, so on and so forth. And my dad kind of burst my bubble and was like, this could be a spirit trying to take advantage of you and make you think that this is her when it's actually something else trying to gain your trust. But I do believe in my heart of hearts and deep within my soul that it was my mom, but I never did get on the Ouija board again. So that was a really interesting experience. I don't recommend anybody really using it. But that being said, let's go to our caller. We have area code 830. Who are we talking to? Hey, Neil, how's it going?
Pretty good. Eric told me this number to call, and I just called it, so I guess you answered. Do you know Eric?
I know a couple. Which Eric are we talking about?
The Awakening Man.
Oh, I don't know. Eric Cooper or Eric...
I don't know his last name, though, but I was listening to you. I've been doing research and seeing the invisible dimension, like scientific research. So I understand what you're talking about, but you have to understand this metrics we in. Did you know about aliens?
Yes.
Well, they have control of this planet. So what I found out when I started seeing stuff, I seen the cloud people, they asked me for help and stuff, and I started using my telepathy. But I'm really trying to teach people how to see with the third eye. It's an ancient wisdom that I have brought back from the past that's actually in the future, in a lot of different realms. But if you don't see in this dimension, you're not going to see in the next dimension.
Yeah, you have to have that openness and awareness. be aware of your surroundings. And there's so much more out there than a lot of people really realize.
Yeah. Well, the dawn hours is the best time to see. If you get on my, I'm on Twitter. If you look up Neil Rubber Show, you might be able to learn some stuff that I've been writing. I just got on Twitter about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and I'm trying to teach people how to see. Well, if you look through your eyelids, okay, I'm gonna give an example, and you meditate in a dark room, you know, and you got to look for light. You have to actually try to look through your eyelids. Well, no one's teaching y'all that. So this is new. You know, it's like you take the red pill, you're going to see the truth. And if you take the green pill, you're going to just go back into this blind reality. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So when I started to see is, I said, golly, you know, the only reason why I started to see it is because I was looking. You see what I'm saying? But I started remembering these things to make me see, like looking through the eyelids, talking to the spirits in the clouds. You know, you could use your cloud telepathy, and when you see their eyes, their nose, and their mouth, as you're watching their mouth move, you could actually hear them from like 100 miles away, or is it 50? I don't know how far it is, because I don't know how far it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But what, you know, so there's so many different, but we have night vision, okay. If you go out in the pitch dark, like camping, like no city, no lights at all, from miles of, you know, you could turn it on. You have to manifest it. And when I started seeing the night vision, it's like all these particles in the sky above me is like a TV set, and you could see these particles of light. And then it just, you know, once you start to look at it, it just you know, your eyes start to focus, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how you do it. You know? But it's good to tell people, because when you're writing on Twitter, it's like, you know, it's different. You know, when you talk, you know, when you're texting, it's like talking to AI, artificial intelligence. You know, because you can't really, you know, like if we're talking now and we're doing texting, I could read you a lot better if you're speaking than just texting. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like artificial intelligence. So I don't like to do that texting thing because it drives me nuts.
Right? People always take me wrong when I text. I'm like, we need some sort of, you know, this is the emotion or this is the intent I have when I'm texting this, because a lot of people think I'm being mean or mad at them, and I'm like, no, I'm not at all. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this needs some sort of emotional context so you know where I'm coming from. But yeah, I hear what you're saying there. It's pretty...
Yeah, because yeah, you're right. Yeah. But it's like, but I wanted to tell you that though, because you know, because I explain it a lot easier if you're listening to me. You know, you could understand me, and you could say, "Well, hey, he's for real." You know, but see, a lot of people that's out there like these, you know, read cards and they think they're a psychic. Well, they think they're a psychic, but they're not, because, well, they might be a psychic, but they're blind psychics, you know. But you know, when you wake up, you ever seen that movie? What is it, Alice in Wonderland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know how the rabbit is late, you know, I'm late for an important date. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I feel that way, because when I start to tell people how to see, it's like, we never heard of this before, you know, and all my other scientific research about Venus. See, Venus was, the technology, they attacked Venus and Mars and they destroyed it completely, and they left Earth to be all by itself, right? And Venus rotates the opposite way than all the other planets. Yeah, well, if you look at the photographs of YouTube, got a bulge in it like a bow. Well, when the aliens came to take over the Earth, we had a war, a battle, the last battle, and what they did was they rammed it and then they flipped it over, they rammed it and flipped it over upside down. That way they could move it toward the sun to burn up the people that was on Venus. And then Mars, they nuked the heck out of it. You could tell, the scientists are showing that right now, by our photographs. And then the planet between Mars and Jupiter was blown up. So that's evidence right there that a lot of people haven't been telling y'all about what really happened. But that's, so that's like front-head news,
Well, yeah, and there's so many different, pieces of evidence that you see, like the big old rip through the planet of Mars, as far as, it looks like there was some sort of laser or something that just tore it apart, and there's actually radiation detected and all kinds of different things, and it makes you think, what happened here? And, I do believe that there was life on Mars and perhaps destroyed by someone else. Perhaps people from Venus or whatever it may be. But there's obviously some sort of war that had happened there, and it was destroyed by this massive laser explosion or whatever the heck it was. It was pretty insane.
Yeah, you could see the big rips in it. It don't look like a river did it. Mm-mm. And then they showed a big giant hole in it, like something, big giant piece was blown off. They have signs of nuclear war there too. But the moon, you got to understand, you got to remember this when you get older. The moon is not a moon. It's a planet. Mm-hmm. And it's a war planet, and they got aliens on that moon, and they're not good people,
Yeah.
And I know the history because it was like I remembered all this stuff. The Earth is a slave planet now, and we're behind enemy lines. Now, Notre Dame, if you research Notre Dame, he said someone was going to die on their birthday, and Saturn was going to come too late, that only 70 of us are going to survive. It's not talking about the whole world. It's talking about the ones that were left behind, after the war. Mm-hmm. And it actually pertains to me because my mother, she died on the same day that she was born. So all the stuff at the very end, if you look at the very end of Notre Dame's quatrain, it's talking about that it's talking about them three things. And we all behind enemy lines, and Saturn is where the good guys are because they took over all the way to Jupiter, but they didn't take over Saturn, of the Milky Way.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just wanted to give you some history of our Earth because I'm doing research with some other people too, and they got these big giants that's dead giants that's all over the place that's turned into stone with the dinosaurs and stuff. You can find it on YouTube too. So I'm doing different research things because I can't stand people saying, oh, the Anunnaki, made the human beings. That's the biggest lie that ever, and all the rest of the religious stuff,
Yeah, and another thing,
but see, religion...
You're talking about planets, and another thing that I find really interesting is the different songs that the different planets sing, and you can kind of tell the energy of the things that thrive there by the song that's omitted there. Some are dark and some have a lighter tone, and so when you listen to those and listening to what you're saying, it really makes sense.
Yeah, but see, I'm the one that's supposed to tell people how to wake up. It's an ancient remedy of programming, because what you got to do is deprogram yourself with all religion, and civilization, because we've been put back into the Stone Ages to start all over. And that's what you do with, like, I'm going to give you an example. If we have a war with China and Russia, we're going to have to just put them in the Stone Ages and then say, okay, you can't have technology, so you can't come back and fight us later on. You see what I'm saying? It's like putting a Band-Aid on it, right?
Mm-hmm. And Eric's saying you're from Arizona, but are you originally from, like, Louisiana or something? I'm detecting some sort of accent.
Yeah, I'm from Louisiana. I'm French, yeah.
Awesome.
But I'm doing research. Yeah, I'm from Louisiana, but I had to leave for a big reason. Yeah. We need, see, it's like a puzzle. There's certain people waking up at this time, and it's almost like it's getting too late, like the rabbit, I'm late, I'm late for an important day, and it's kind of like we got to wake us up really quickly, because it's hard to explain. When you start to see the metrics, that movie, The Metrics, on Neo Dude and Morpheus and stuff? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. You take the red pill, or you... all right, you know what the green pill is? The green pill is religion and all this love, that God has everything under control, and, that we're okay. But the green pill is a big lie. Okay, the red pill is saying, I see freaking demons, or, dead humans laying, I have to fight these spirits. I'll use firecrackers and blow their asses up. And I use sage. I know it sounds funny, but I sleep with a sword, with a big machete at night in my hand.
Yeah.
Because aliens could come and duck you, or a spirit. They could come and just take you, from your bed. And you're not going to know it, because you're in the, because they got technology. They could come in there, and they got a machine that aims at you and just puts you in, like this sleep thing, That's how they abduct humans. It's all technology stuff.
Yeah, it's funny you said that about the firecrackers, because Eric was like, ask him if he blows up aliens with firecrackers, and then you said it on your own. But, yeah, and we've done that as well.
Yeah.
Sleeping with swords, different swords and stuff by our beds, because there's something dark in the room, and we know something's going to happen, and the only way we can feel protected is with these swords. I mean, there's guns and other things you can use, but the sword seems like it would protect more. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you have more control over it or more willpower behind it, but yeah, it's pretty interesting that you said that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I went to the FBI and I told them about, I could see what's going on. I gave them my assessment. And the FBI had rings around his eyes. He was a big guy, strong, looked like an athletic guy. But I said, these spirits are sucking on our energy. Okay, the 6th sense, the 7th sense, and the 8th sense, and like 9 and 0 senses? Well, we lose all that, because they start sucking on us when we're babies, and the first thing that goes is the feeling. You don't feel it no more.
Right.
Your body becomes numb. And then you lose your power of telepathy and the sight to see or to hear. So you got 6, hearing is 6, 7 is eyes, and then telepathy is 8, and then 9 is feeling, and then 0 is like it's your thumb. If you go count from doing your little finger, big, go up all the way to the thumb. Your thumb is your immortal life, which is taken from you because you're not living to be 900 or 500 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We get sick and we die. Well, they had a woman on Alien. She got abducted, and this human picked her up, and he was doing something with her. And he told her that humans are not supposed to be getting sick at all.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the understanding that I have to give to the future of our children. And you know what? You're either going to take it for a grain of salt and throw it behind your back or whatever, or you're going to take the red pill,
Well, it's interesting because,
like
you're saying, we're not supposed to be getting sick and this and this and that and that, and it's kind of a thing to keep us aback from what we're really supposed to become. And my daughter Nova, she's very gifted. All my kids are gifted. They all have different gifts. And Nova, she's not only able to see spirits and different things, but she's able to feel what they're feeling. And no matter what comes around, as a baby, she almost died. She had pertussis, aka whooping cough, and so whatever comes around, she catches. And I think it's something to keep her from reaching her full potential. It's to keep her aback from what she's really supposed to become. And it's pretty sad, but interesting at the same time. It really makes you stop and think, what's really going on here?
Yeah, it's ancient times they talked about vampires and different things. And the thing is, how they say vampires, you can't see them in the mirror, huh?
Yeah, you can't see them in a mirror. You can't see them in pictures.
Yeah, that's a big lie, because if you look in the mirror, you could actually see them better. So everything that we've been told is a lie. Like if you take a photograph of a spirit, it's like looking in the mirror. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah, it kind of has that graininess as if you're taking a picture in a mirror. It's got that kind of granulation in it. I've noticed that as well.
Yeah. If you see, like if a car is like silver or black, and you're looking at the car, and you're looking at the door area, and you see the reflection, well, the spirits that's in the ground that's next to the car, you could actually see them in the reflection. Mm-hmm. So all the things that we've been taught is, about science or spirituality or whatever, it's all to just deceive you,
Yeah, and there's so much deception when it comes to us as individuals and the government. They keep so many things from us, and when I was in the military, they told us, you guys are citizens, the rest of these guys are civilians. When the ish hits the fan, you guys will be the first to know, and these other people will be ignorant to it because we're not telling them, because we don't have enough space to save everyone. But we're going to save you guys, and we're going to save these other people. And it just made me realize, I'd always said I'd never join the military, but it was kind of like a last-ditch effort for my survival to join it. But it just told me what I had already realized. I don't like the government, and the government is just dirty and looking out for itself, and it really does not care about us as individuals.
Well, it's not the government's fault. It's really the religious people, because they're the biggest liars of all time. And, the thing, I'm going to give you an example. If you're looking at someone with a cross, the crucifix on their, on a chain on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you went back in time to the European people, when they were crucifying them, they'd probably kill you and hang you.
Yeah, I actually had an experience
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there was this dark entity in our room while we were in Pagosa Springs doing an investigation, and I went the very next day to the pawn shop and I bought a cross, which I still wear today. My husband bought a bunch of swords. So we were very well protected as far as, the ass we were going to kick in our room, of this thing that was trying to take advantage of us. And neither one of us told each other what had happened, but we both went out to find different tools to protect ourselves. And I think it's all in faith, what you have faith in. And I agree with you as far as organized religion goes. I don't believe in it. As a child, I went and sought out different religions, and while I was in the military, I could go to any church I wanted to. And I think everybody has a ring of truth, and everybody's saying we have the complete and utter truth, but nobody really does. Everybody has a little portion of it. If we all just came together as human beings and quit being so snobbish and thinking we have all the answers, and we just work together as human beings and quit looking down our noses at each other, we could get a lot further than being in these organized religions and all this ridiculousness that comes along with it.
Well, the biggest thing I have to tell you is they clone the image of Jesus. So if you see Jesus, it's not him, okay? I'm going to tell you, because the same thing they were doing to him, they're doing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually had set up his death. He got Judas to tell, go ahead and do. They made the plan that says, okay, I'm just gonna, get it done. And he set it all up. He could have went to France. He could have left this, the country and saved his life. But he knew they were going to follow him anyway. The moon. See, the moon is the false god or false heaven up there. It's glowing white. So if you die and you see this big glowing white, it's like all this energy, because it's like, Nikola Tesla.
Mm-hmm. He's one of my heroes.
I got all the energy and stuff. The moon is not glowing in supernaturally like it's doing because the sun's shining on it.
Yeah.
It's because it has that energy. It's like a big light bulb that's glowing. It's not because the sun's shining on it, right? So it's a false heaven, and it's collecting the spirit world like a vacuum cleaner, because I actually filmed it on, I got it on YouTube too. I filmed the moon with night vision goggles.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see it like, I could see the energy, around it. But see, they cloned the image of Jesus, to fool the human race. Because once they started getting this new religion, like the Catholic Church started, then they said, well, let's do this. And they started doing it just to, it's been like, 2,000 years now? So, anybody that has these visions on YouTube that they saw Jesus, they didn't see him. They saw the clone Jesus,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, and you just gotta listen to your gut when you see stuff like that. Like, as a child, I saw the devil right as soon as I saw him. I knew exactly who he was. But I'm thinking, if I see this clone of Jesus, just because he looks like Jesus, I'm not going to be like, oh, Jesus, it's you. I'm going to go by my gut instinct and know for a fact if it is or isn't him. And that's why it's so important to listen to your gut, or that, third eye, or that instinct or whatnot that you have when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw a spirit when I was younger running to the mulberry tree. And he was all dressed up, looking nice and all that. But I knew it. I knew it was a false one, man. And I saw him when I was young. So I know, because the thing is that if y'all not, if the religious people don't know this stuff's going on and the government don't admit it, because I know the government knows it's going on, because they do remote viewing and stuff too. I remote viewed, I did a lot of different scientific research, remote viewing, other things like that. And see, not only about my mother with the 27s, but I'm born on March the 20th. It's the day of spring.
That's awesome.
Okay, it's the 13th. It's in between 12 zodiac and the first zodiac. It's the 13th sign. And there's some stuff, I was supposed to wake up, and I could see these spirits like in the trees, like the movie Predator.
Yeah.
And there's not just one of them. There's like hundreds of them in there, and some of them are really big. Sometimes their head is big as the tree, too. There's certain things like a tree. I've never seen it before, but one time. But a tree is like an octopus. If a spirit's moving in the tree, the darn tree would just grab them.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they destroyed all the trees long ago too, as well. In the Bible, it talks about them destroying all the trees. You could release spirits like that too, or fire. You could use fire too.
Well, Eric's wanting me to ask you about blue avians, and then Adnam was wondering about cloning centers.
Cloning? Well, I saw a blue spirit. See, they got different spirits. It's got this blue dust. When I was doing research on my motorbike, I saw a blue spirit, but I call him Big Blue, and he just passed over me on my motorbike, and he dropped all this blue dust. And one of the spirits that was in front of me, when I was driving my motorbike, he said to breathe it in, that, hey, we needed this blue stuff or something, And then I saw some blue stuff another time when I was doing something in the mountains. I was stirring up the mountains a little bit, and this blue dust just started flying all in the air and stuff. But I know they got they got spirits that have feathers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dove. Different birds like that. But I never met the blue avians before, so I met a bunch of aliens, different kind. Some of them look like a bumblebee, some of them look like a praying mantis, reptilian. I saw one that he was actually green. He looked like a Ninja Turtle, and it's like if you put your hands together like far away, that's how big his head is. So it's like two basketballs. You're holding on your chest with your arm out like that, really big.
Mm-hmm.
And then them reptilians, they're really big, That's how big his head was. Imagine how big his body would be,
Right.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the human giants, did you ever, I don't know if you ever checked it out yet, though, but the giants, it's the mud fossil dude, and they got another girl that's Mountains Were Alive. They showing like elephants turning to stone, animals, just turning to stone, and they got photographs of it. So, when I see these giants, how big they are, you could put their head in a football field.
That's
just
crazy
their head.
big.
That's pretty big, yeah. And once you start to see them, it's like, they look like mountains, but they're dead corpses of giants everywhere. Like on Highway, Highway 10 and Highway 8 all the way from California to Texas in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that meteorite, it wasn't just one meteorite. It was more, because when I'm traveling around, I'm doing research, and I see this giant gaping hole in the earth. I mean, that's like, God, that must have been the impact area, you know?
Right.
And you could see the debris. If you look in the desert close to California, Southern California, you're going to see all this sand and rocks and dirt just piled up, you know, like little hills and stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the debris field. When the meteorite hit, it must have pushed it, because I'm looking at it now. It pushed it in a certain area. And if you go further down toward Arizona, all these mountains or giants or whatever they were, they just turned into stone, you know?
Yeah.
So it looks completely different from 100 miles away or 50 miles away, you know.
Well, I hate to interrupt you.
You could tell what it
but we got to go to our first commercial break. So you guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, we own the night.
Hey, guess what? You can now get your brand new Spaced Out Radio swag at spacedoutradio.com. We've brought the store back with all new items for you to pick out and pick up for yourself, your family, or friends. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, we got it all. All you have to do is head to our website and click on Store. Choose what you want and it's shipped to you. The Spaced Out Radio store is right there for you. Come shop with us at spacedoutradio.com. Then we can own the night together.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com. If you're heading to Vancouver, make sure you stop by the official bar of Spaced Out Radio, the Moose Vancouver. It's the place to party in YVR at the corner of Nelson and Granville. The Moose Vancouver is always up to speed with a kitchen staff that serves great food. All food on the menu, $6.95 to $8.95. There's a reason the Moose Vancouver is recognized as one of the hottest spots on the West Coast. Get your horns up for the Moose Vancouver.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in this supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You can follow Tessa on Twitter at TessaTNT, on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio, and our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now, back to Spaced Out Weekend host, Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Hear the sound again, voices dancing in my head, smile wide, drowning slowly as the air goes right.
Hey guys, welcome back. So great to have you on tonight, and I'm so glad you guys joined us. Our guest she said she's really tired. She just got off work, and I could call her in, but I'm kind of actually having fun doing what we're doing, and you know, I was really looking forward to what she had to say, but I'm actually having fun doing this. And we're still here with Neil. We had a 425 number call in, but they hung up. So, Neil, you were talking about going into at first you were talking about paranormal investigators and seeing things in fire and smoke and such while we were on break. Can you kind of go into that for our guests to hear? Mm-hmm.
And that would kind of prove that they're in the house. I'm here, you know, to give y'all scientific, you know, means of seeing them, you know, like looking through a feather, you know, looking through your eyelids and all that stuff. But, if I went to a haunted house, I'd probably bring me a lot of firecrackers and fog. Try to figure out some way to fog the house up so I could get film the outside as well as the inside of the house.
I'm like,
And
shoot,
then
where
that
are
would
you
pretty
in
much
Arizona?
prove-
Because I want to go on one of these firecracker ghost hunts. That sounds more exciting than regular ones.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does. Because if a spirit's gonna aggravate me, I'm gonna blow them up. It's a lot more fun.
Right? Like, bam, there you go. Take that, ghosty.
Yeah, but it's real though. The thing, when I went to go to the FBI, I told him, I went to see this FBI. He was like, his eyes were black, and I called him back the next day. I said, look, you can't even protect yourself, and I'm like a doctor in vampirism,
Mm-hmm.
I know the signs of it, There was times when I had a Tesla ball and I started, using energy, electricity to boost my energy up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's super awesome.
Yeah, you ever seen them plasma balls?
Yeah.
With electricity, and they just,
And you touch
Well,
it and
you
makes your
could
hair
act-
stand up?
Yeah, kind of like, well, if it's a strong one, some of them are really strong. And you could actually boost your energy up with them things, But the bad thing is, once they found out that you're doing that, they could get a bunch of evil spirits in the ball.
Oh,
and if you try to pull the energy out, all these bad spirits will go inside of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot for an evil entity to take you over. I actually did a cleansing right up the road from where I live, and this lady's about to have a baby, and, this thing has been messing with her kids, and I go in there. Generally, I feel when I pull up to a house what's going on in there. I wasn't picking up on anything, but I was compromised. I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before because I'm staying awake with anticipation of the excitement of the next day. What's going to happen? What's going to go on with this? And so I go in there compromised and do the cleansing and show her how to do it on her own because, she has the main power. She's the one that needs to put her foot down. And, being I'm surrounded by sage smoke and such, I don't sage myself. And so I leave and go home, and I have a piece of tourmaline in my pocket, which I use for protection as well. As soon as I take off my pants and everything and get into my pajamas, like 30 minutes later, all hell breaks loose as far as this thing took control of my body. And my facial features changed, my voice, the things I was saying. I broke my $1,700 camera. I caused all kinds of chaos and havoc in my house. I come to behind the wheel of my car, naked as a jaybird. Like, I'm not wearing any clothes, and I'm like, where the hell am I? Like, the whole naked thing didn't even bother me. I'm like, where the hell am I? Where am I going? I need to go home right now. I need to go back home. So I turn back around to go home and come back, and my husband and my kids are locked in the master bedroom. And I'm like, okay, obviously something really bad just went down. I'm going to put my pajamas on. I'm going to lay down on the couch and fall asleep watching TV, which I did. And the next day, instead of my husband coming out and being pissed off at me, he came out and he was genuinely concerned, and he's like, are you okay? Like, I know that wasn't you, that was something else. And so from that point on, I won't go out on an investigation or cleansing or anything compromised. I make sure that, one of my teammates or my team goes out and takes care of it, and I'll stay home. Because if I'm compromised, it's not only going to affect me, it's going to affect my teammates or whoever were there to help. So that was a very valuable lesson to me because I didn't even pick up on this energy. It was very sneaky and in the backyard of a Catholic church, and I had no sense or feeling of it being there. It was very, very sneaky, and it really did cause chaos in my house that night. That was one of the scariest experiences I've had trying to help other people and it coming back on me tenfold. basically.
Well, the reason why you had trouble was you was around a Catholic church. That's where they're hanging out at.
Yeah, I was right in the backyard of that, and my house is very haunted.
That's a stronghold.
Yeah, my house is very
It's
haunted.
a stronghold because, see,
we're in
it's
the
like
backyard.
going to, what do they call it, a gathering place where these bad spirits go to steal children and their wives or husbands and, take your energy and stuff and, vampirism, whatever. And, cause I ran into one too. I was in this place and this spirit followed me back home.
Mm-hmm.
And, I could hear them and I was just laying there just to see what they were doing. And, I was trying to listen. But the thing is, when you're shooting, there's ways of using sage. You have to shoot it in the walls like you're shooting a gun, because they're in the walls, most of them, or they're in the room, and you almost got to do like even a fire ceremony too to burn them up too. I know how to do the fire thing too, but some of these spirits follow you back. Where they say, oh yeah, she thinks she's some kind of hot psychic shit. I'm gonna teach her a lesson, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they get
That's
angry
why
at
they follow you home,
because you're trying to help somebody, and they get really pissed off about it. So they follow you home and try to scare you away from doing it, which never works for me. I still go out and do what I do, or I send my team to do it. Either way, we're going to get the job done, but you're not going to scare me away from doing it. I might stay home because I don't want to compromise the situation, but otherwise, there's going to be 4 or 5 members of my team going out and taking care of it. But yeah, they do. They try to scare you away by taking over. But hey, Neil, if you can hold on just a minute, I'd love to talk with you some more. But we got Sir Robin on the line, and I'm sure he has a story to share with us as well. And then we'll get back to what you and I were talking about. Sir Robin, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for being so patient.
So, I think it was the first time, I think it was 2016, I was at this, I was ghost hunting at this, University Heights, which was, elementary school made in 1902 and closed down in the 1980s, but it's a community center now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made contact with a child named Evie, which I heard on my I found out, and I had a ping pong ball that rolled back to me, and it started going around in circles.
Oh wow!
So it was interesting EVP that I found out when I got home, and I actually was able to hear her name, Evie, really clear.
So did she have like a certain message she shared? Like she said her name. Did she say anything else? I mean, it's really awesome when they come through and do say their name, and then that makes you realize they are actually there. But that's pretty awesome. That's an awesome experience, for sure.
I asked her name, and then later on, she just gave it to me.
And what happened to Evie? Like, what was her purpose there?
She didn't. I don't know. That's all I know. That she just gave me her name.
Have you tried doing any homework or investigation as far as looking in the fish files or whatnot to see what exactly or who she was and what might have happened to her that has kept her there?
No, I haven't. But I was about to say that before I left, it's called U Heights for short. U Heights. I felt a tap on my left shoulder, which was actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's so cool when you actually feel them. We had that happen when we did National Ghost Hunting this last year, and we were at the Grand Imperial in Silverton, Colorado, and we ended up sleeping in what was the old theater, and I'm sitting there. I'm always a night owl. I'm always up really late, and everybody kind of gets sick of my ish as far as that goes, but I'm sitting there talking to my teammate Mel, and you can hear her breathing change, and she starts to kind of snore, and then all of a sudden she jolts awake, and she's like, "Did you just touch me?" And I said, "No, I was just telling you a story." And she's like, "Something just tapped me 3 times on my shoulder." And I was like, "No, that wasn't me." And she's like, "Wow." So she was up for a little while longer because something had touched her and jolted her awake, and she was kind of freaked out by it. And then not even 5 minutes later, Cheryl, another teammate of ours, which we're kind of like in a triangle, she jolts awake and she's like, "Did you just tap me on my hip?" And I was like, "No, I didn't touch you." And she's like, "Something tapped me 3 times on my hip." So it's interesting. It was 3 taps on each one of them, one on the shoulder and the other one on the hip, but they both got touched by whatever this entity was that was in the theater. It's always awesome when they can reach out and touch you. Yes, I'd love to hear.
Would you like to hear something else that happened to me?
Yeah, for sure.
So I haven't been back there this year because I have been busy doing other things. So I think maybe it was this year, or this year. Anyways, I'll just tell the story. So this building is 3 stories, and if you walk in it, you'll know someone's walking in it because it has it's like an echo room, so so you'll know when someone's walking because you'll just know. So there's this way downstairs. There's a shower room, and then back there's a fan room. And in the fan room, there's a dark spirit. And people don't like to go in there. But me, I love going back there because I want to make contact with a dark spirit and wondering why the dark spirit's there. So, and the reason why I want to know is because they do something. Is he stuck? You know. So there was one time where I was asking how many are there, and I heard there was this fan duct right above me, and I heard 4 bangs. So that indicates that there's probably 4 of them there.
Right.
Which was interesting.
It's very cool. It's awesome. I'm so glad you called in to share your stories, and Michael's asking, who is this guy? Michael, this is Sir Robin, who's on right now, and before that we had Neil, who's still on hold, because he's got more stories to share. But yeah, those are totally awesome stories, and I'm looking forward to coming out to Washington and doing some ghost hunting with you for sure.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to share?
No, that's it.
Well, thanks so much for calling in. I really appreciate you doing that because I love to hear from you guys and I love to hear your stories and your experiences. And yeah, it's just really awesome to hear other people's experiences and points of view, and it makes me feel not so weird.
All right.
Thanks, Sir Robin. You have a good
night, Tessa.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, so Neil, we were talking about firecrackers and spirits and such. Have you had anything ever touch you, or where did you want to go from where we were?
Well, he was talking about, you was talking about them touching you. The reason why they do that is because you're looking for them, and they want to let you know, we know. That's why they do that.
Yeah, and I have,
to verify that, to you that, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I have a strong belief that spirits don't want to be forgotten, and they want you to know that they're there, and they want acknowledgement. And so they do. They'll tap you, or they'll do other random things to let you know they're there, whether you hear their voice or they touch you or whatnot. When they can actually touch you, it's so amazing. But that night was very interesting. We actually had a lot of people in the theater that night, and we're showing all of our tools that we use on investigations and such. And we had 2 people in the background that were actually a part of writing a book on the different hauntings in the Silverton, Durango area. And they're pointing and they're whispering to each other. And so I walk back there as my friend and team member is giving the presentation. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, there's this thing that crawled up the aisleway and then it kind of crawled backwards and was trying to get under the stage. And I'm like, that's just creepy. When things kind of crawl backwards and do like the crab walk or whatever. And then it's trying to get under the stage that's kind of blocked off by wood. What the heck is that? It just seems that one seemed kind of dark and weird.
Well, they're everywhere in everybody's houses. I could see them in the walls. I mean, when people have stuff on photographs and they're sitting on the couch and you could see the wall behind them, you need to start learning to look at the wall because you could really see them good in the photograph. It's the thing is, no one's teaching you where they're at, and there's a bunch of them in one house, I mean, it's like 100 dimensions clogged up into one dimension kind of thing, because there's that many of them. They're in the floor, they're in the walls, they're in the ceiling. If you get on top of a thing where you could see the roof of people's houses, and shingles are usually like 2 different tones, like salt and pepper. You could actually see their heads in the roof of on people's homes, and they've got big giant heads. It's not going to be round like a basketball, like a human head or whatever, or what is it, a soccer ball or something size, Their heads are big, giant. So you have to know that when you're looking for them. They could have, like the little bitty people, they could have spirits like 1 inch tall. And they might run across your shoulder or mess with your ears, I can't stand them when they mess with my ears,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really aggravating, man. See, I did some alchemy. All right, no one's probably done this experiment. Well, I took a motorbike and I said, okay, I'm going to be like a porta collider. I could collect this dust, and particles, and it might help me see better or, stuff like that, right? And I started doing research, and I looked at the cloud people one day, and, this woman was up there in the clouds, and she said, help us. And so I was like looking up there, and I says, well, what's wrong? And then when she started to talk again, I had got excited, and I lost telepathy. She started talking. I couldn't even hear her no more. It's like, oh, my gosh, what? I'm like very mad, because I wanted to find out what she had to tell me, and I always, it's like it haunts me sometimes because, if someone's trying to tell you something and you can't hear them, it's just, and they're asking for help, it's like, it hurts you bad, You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what you need to do is, you need to do my research in clouds and looking through your eyelids, go in the pitch dark desert or woods. Well, you got to be careful in the woods because it's got bigger spirits in there because they're trees. It's a lot safer to be in the desert. It's safer to be in the desert. But they're in the desert too. But once you start to see them in their environment, and they knew, she knew that I could see her, and they had another spirit one time. She looked like some angel woman or something, but she didn't have no wings, and she was up there by this little child, and she pointed at me like, hey, look at him, and I was like looking at the kid right by her, and she told the child to tell me what's going on. And the little child started crying and said, they took me from my house, and they stole me. And he was crying, he was weeping, and he was up in the clouds, and I could see the bad spirits all around him. And I pretty much told that angel woman or whatever who she was to, save him, but I don't know if that happened, but the thing is, they're coming in our homes and they're taking little children out your houses, and there's nothing y'all could do about it because y'all can't see what's going on. And the thing is, I got to teach y'all how to see. This is ancient. A lot of these experiments I did are natural to me. It's like I knew what to do before I even thought it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So, but if you're doing this stuff you're doing, because I was listening to you, what you do, you have to open your consciousness up to nature. I see them in the trees. I mean, when I went into the woods after I went to the beach, I went in the woods just to see what the spirits in the trees were about and all that. And this one face was like old man's face in a tree branch. And I stopped and looked at him, and he started to talk, and I could hear him. He says, "It's going to be getting cold this winter," like a shaky voice. "Cold this winter, And it's like, holy crap! Did I just hear that?
Right. Well, it's funny that you called in because I was thinking about my grandma Lolita, and she's actually from Louisiana, and she used to tell us the Christmas story in the Cajun lingo. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all to the house. Do you know that? Do you know that story? Could you share that with our listeners? Because I'd love to hear that in that lingo because I so miss it, and I have no way of getting her on there to do that because she's so elderly and goes to bed early. Could you share that story with us? That would be so awesome if you did. I would send you an awesome present if you gave me that present. You got to do that in the Louisiana lingo. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all to the house.
Yeah, I think you could probably do it too.
I don't think I can. Well, I remember that first part, but I can't go on from there. And she did it so awesomely.
Yeah.
it makes me homesick. But
Yeah,
if you
but,
could do that, I'd be so happy.
You got to. Yeah, but I'm not into all that. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Christian.
Neither.
I don't believe in that Christmas stuff no more because it's a bunch of bull crap. It's a lie.
Well, it's all been
my parents lied to me about Santa Claus,
right?
and they lied to me about religion.
They're like, don't lie, but they're telling you all kinds of lies. But if you could tell that Christmas story, I'd love you forever.
Yeah, but I can't do it because I kind of see the Metrics. You ever seen that movie, The Metrics, the movie? Well, it's kind of like that. I can't be part of the delusion about Christmas because Jesus was never born on Christmas Day, and it's just I don't want you get mad about what I'm trying to tell you is because I'm for real.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's more. I'm gonna give you an example. When I told the FBI, I said there's about 1,000,000 times 1,000,000 spirits per square mile. I was telling them how bad it was, and I said it's not. That don't include the home inside the houses and buildings. So, my reality is clear as crystal, and doing the Santa Claus thing, ho ho ho, and everything's okay every year. It's not. Because
there's different stories
these
that go
aliens
along with all this stuff. Saint Nick was actually real, and there was a family that was very poor with 3 daughters, and they had to be sold off so this family could persevere. And Saint Nick came along and would put these gold coins in their stockings and such every night, and it saved each one of them from being sold into slavery, basically. So that's how it all began with Saint Nick. And I do believe in my brother Jesus Christ. Like, I do believe in all the miracles that he performed and such. But as far as organized religion, it's the ego of man. Like, it's so perverted, just like Christmas these days. It's all about commercialism, and it's not even about what Christmas really is supposed to be about anymore,
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's all about making money.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. It's so commercialized.
Yeah, I went, like, every time you go to Walmart, in the dollar store, they got all this Christmas stuff, and it says, what if we just take that away from y'all, and imagine how much money you could save, because they're buying all this bull junk that's made out of plastic and, paper, and it's not worth nothing. I'd rather buy some firecrackers and blow some stuff up.
Right.
Hey, I'd probably I like to blow a darn tree up. It'd be kind of funny. But you know what? Don't ever take a live tree. The spirits in the tree, they're very angry, and they're going to attack you in your house. I've seen it one time. Some of the spirits that was in the living room one time, and I saw some people, had a tree, and my eyes were open. I could see the spirits in the trees, right? Well, everybody was saying, get us away from that tree. That damn tree is going to kill us. No, I'm not joking. I'm really serious about this.
I believe you. I don't do fresh trees either. I do the plastic Christmas trees because I don't believe in cutting down trees every year for Christmas. That's just sick and wrong. Do your plastic Christmas tree. We got one that's like a $350 tree this year, and it has LED lights, and it changes different colors, and it actually plays music and does a little light show for you, and it's really awesome. And I don't believe in taking the life of the tree because I believe everything has a spirit, even trees, even grass, flowers. Everything has a spirit. So why are you cutting down these fresh trees for your Christmas holiday? You're just like murdering something for your Christmas. Like, come on, just go buy a plastic tree or whatever and have it for years to come instead of cutting down these living beings to celebrate morbidly your Christmas. I mean, I love the scent. You could get those aromatherapy things in there with a pine scent or whatever. But...
You know who hates the Christians the worst? You know who hates the Christmas? You know, the beings that hate Christmas and they hate the Christian people because they do that? Is
Donald
them
Trump?
Christmas tree people. No, it's the Christmas trees, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right,
so sad.
Imagine if I go to your house and take your kid and chop his feet off and hang him up and put ornament, you know, put lights on him and says, "Oh yeah," you know.
It's so sad.
You see what I'm saying?
I know, and my brother-in-law, he's like, I went and got a tree for free off the side of the road, and I'm like, dude, why did you cut down that tree? Like, we need that tree. And he's like, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, geez, oh, Pete, like, go buy a plastic Christmas tree and do it that way. Like, it's so much better for the environment or whatever else. Like, you're not killing that tree spirit or whatever. And like you said, they get pissed off. They really do. Okay, so I found this. I found the Christmas story. You want to hear it? Because I really want to hear it.
Yeah, go ahead.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, they not a thing passed, not even a mouth. The children be nuzzled, good snug in the flow, and man passed the pepper through the crack in the dough. Then mama in the fireplace done roast up the ham, stir up the gumbo, and bake your yam. Then out on the bayou, they got such a clatter, make sound like old Beaudrew done fall off his ladder. I ran like a rabbit, I got to the door, trip over the door, and fall on the floor. As I look out the door in the light of the moon, I think, man, you crazy, or got all too soon. 'Cause there on day bayou, when I stretch my neck stiff, there's 8 alligator a-pulling the skiff, and a little fat drover with a long pulling stick. I knowin' right away, got be old Saint Nick. More faster and faster the gator they came. He whistle and holler and came them by name. Ha Gaston, ha Thibaut, ha Pierre and Alcie, Guy Ninette, Guy Suzette, Celeste and Renee. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, make crawl alligator and be sure you don't fall. Like Tante-Flo's cat, through the treetop he flay. When the big old hound dog came run hissif by, like that de porch, dem old gator climb, with the skiff full of toy and St. Nicholas behind. Then on top of the porch roof, soon like the hail, when all them big gator done sot down they tail. Then down the chimney I yell with a bam, and St. Nicholas fell and sit on the yam. Sacre! He exclaimed, my pant got a hole. I done sat myself on dem red-hot coal. He got on his foots and jumped like a card out to the floor, where he lands with a splat. He was dressed in muskrat from his head to his foot, and his clothes is all dirty with ashes and soot. A sack full of plating he throw in his back. He looked like a burglar, and that's full of fact. His eyes how they shine, his dimple how merry. Maybe he didn't drink the wine from blackberry. His cheek was like rose, his nose like a cherry. On second thought, maybe he lap up the sherry. With snow-white chin whisker and quivering belly, he shook when he laughed like the stoneberry jelly. But a wink in his eye, and a shook o' his head. Make me confidence dat I don't got to be scared. He don't do no talking, gone straight to his work, but plating in sock, and in turn with a jerk. He put bought his hand there on top o' his head, cast an eye to den chimney, and then he done said, with all of dat fire and den burning hot flame, me I ain't going back by the way that I came. So he ran out the door, and he climbed to the roof. He ain't no fool him, for he came make more proof. He jump on his skiff and crack his big whip. The gator moved down and don't make one slip. And I hear him shout loud as a splashing he go. Merry Christmas to all till I saw you some more. I love that one.
Darn, that's a lot. That's a lot of words for that thing.
Right? That's why I was like, I remember the first part. I can't remember the rest, so I had to Google it. Google's the best. But when my grandma, Lolita from Louisiana, would tell it, she just had that awesome accent, and it was just amazing. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss staying at my hometown. You know, it was a small city. It's not like these big cities, you know.
Right.
But some of the things I told you, I don't know if you're going to remember about it, you know, about how to see. You might have to listen to it again. Sometimes I do that. I would, talk on the radio or record it, and then listen to it, because a lot of times, it gets kind of late and you're tired and it's almost time to go to bed or whatever. So, but you got to be careful about doing that stuff, going to people's houses, because that's a good way for you to get attacked,
Yeah.
They go after people. You got to understand, this Earth is a slave planet, and we haven't, I don't know, when I heard Nick Notre Dame say the last words of his quatrains, he spoke of Jupiter was going to get here too late, that it's going to be a long time, before they save us, because, but I don't know when that's going to come. I told the FBI we're going to have to evacuate big cities and just burn the whole damn buildings down, And that was like 2 years ago, and then they started burning, then fires started burning, and they had lasers coming down in California. You seen that before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had pictures of that I shared, and picture of that tree that was burning from the inside out, and it was just insanity. And then the houses are burning up, but the trees and bushes right next to the house aren't burning. What is happening?
Yeah, well, you could see it, though, because I saw a laser coming down on one alien, and he was a pretty big guy, man. He looked like he was about 10 foot tall, maybe. I mean, he was a big alien, and that laser had him pinned down, on the ground. So they were, and I was like, oh man, that's enough evidence for me, man. It's like they're shooting at these darn aliens and stuff.
Well, I don't know if you believe in Bigfoot or not, but there's actually been stories of these Bigfoot being carried out by helicopters and nets because of the fire. They got burned up, and so these, I don't know if it's government. It's government. I don't know if it's military, but I know it's government. They're carrying out these Bigfoot carcasses that got burned up because they don't want anybody to find them. Why? I don't know, but they could see them being carried out in nets, and they're like, what the hell? That's a humanoid thing, but it's very large, and they could see it being carried out by net instead of how they would generally carry out a carcass that of a human or whatnot that had been burnt in the fire?
Well, we got technology to raise people from the dead now. So they could do that, or they could take their DNA and clone them, you know. Stuff like that too. We got technology that we do time travel and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's ancient time travel from long ago. That the United States is working on, you know, alien spaceships and all that stuff. So they have a lot of technology. You know, they have medicine to heal every illness, but they're not giving it to us.
So I'm interested in hearing, like, you're from Louisiana, and I could tell that from your voice and your accent. Did you have any paranormal experiences and such in Louisiana that you could share with us?
Yeah, I was, when I was a kid, I had an encounter. I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I was running to the mulberry tree. And this person was like leaning against the tree that I saw, but I was running to the mulberry tree to beat my brother, so because they had bicycles, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And something tripped me, and I fell down on my hands and knees, and I couldn't move. I tried to get up, but then I said, "Oh, you know, let my brothers pass," because they were on the bicycles. If I got up, they might have ran into me or whatever. So I stayed still. But then I tried to get up, and something was holding my hands, you know, and my, you know, not so much my legs. It was just I couldn't raise my hands up, and then you know, it kind of registered in my mind. I says, "Was something in my mind?" I said, "Well, what tripped me?" You know, it's like, was it a stick, a rock, or a root or something, you know, 3 different things I thought of. And I said, that's not right. You know, I got mad then, you know, it's like, you know, and I could sense that someone was watching me. You know, my central perception, you know, I turned it on. And the thing is, you have to learn how to turn on this, it's kind of like artificial intelligence. You got to turn on your night vision, you know, your telepathy, you know, your central perception. Central perception is you could feel someone watching you kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I got up, I started walking toward the mulberry tree on the trail, you know, the trail we made. And this dude was like leaning against this big live oak tree. And I got really mad at him because I didn't trust him. You know?
Right.
Even if he looked like an angel or whatever, I didn't trust the darn thing. I just knew, you know, something was up, you know. And I pretty much didn't even tell my brothers, you know. At first, when someone told me, asked me to explain it, I kind of thought maybe I did tell them, but I didn't tell them till we got older, you know, about it. Because I knew they wouldn't believe me, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, we should have went back after the dude and says, "Where you at, you son of a gun?"
Right.
You know? Like, what the heck you trying to talk to me for? Because he was like saying, "Hey man, you know, how you doing?" You know, trying to act all nice, right? And I could see right through it, you know. It's like, no, dude, you're bad, you know. And
yeah.
I was right; he was bad person. And the thing is, later on in my life, I ran into him again when I got older, and he, you know, that's the whole, you know, that was he I don't know. And then, he tried to fool me again, but then I kind of I thought it was an angel or something, or I thought it was Jesus, but it wasn't him. And I found out, he was attacking me, and then later on I found out where he worked at, And he was a Catholic priest later on, and so the enemy is in the church. How could this dude remember me? Because when I met him again later on, the third time, it's, he remembered who I was. He knew how old I was when he got there in that, where I lived at. He knew exactly how old I was. So how can someone remember someone that you shouldn't even be trying to remember, unless it was, unless I was a special person or my family was special. So, but the thing is, if you read about my story with my mother, the numbers, when the spirit world told me that I was going to be the messenger, when the messenger comes, he's not going to be blind. He's going to be able to see things. He's going to be able to tell you things that is unbelievable, and, stuff like that. So, but when I listen to these psychics about this and that, and, it's like I could see right through it, Because the thing is, I know what the spirit looks like, and I could tell when you don't. Like that dude on Dune, he put his hand in that box, and did all that stuff. And then she said, can you tell if people are lying and stuff? And he said, yeah, I could tell, you could tell if they're full of shit, Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I should say that.
Yeah, you can't say the ish
You see
word.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
So, the thing is, I'm very mad because I said, what, they should have sent someone that could see long time ago. Because it's like, it's like Alice in Wonderland. I'm late for a important date, and it's like no one else can see.
I'm late
but
for a
they
very
do have
important
people.
date.
Yeah, but they do have people that could see. Because on Facebook, when they do the photograph thing and people could see the faces and stuff, but the thing is, we have to teach people more about that because you got to face your fear. These bad spirits, they thrive on that fear, to scare you. And if they think, they can control you with fear, just like religious people do, they preach about, oh, you're going to go to hell and, tell you all that stuff,
Yeah, that fun Bible
That's
Belt
a way of
stuff from
controlling.
the South. I was excited.
That's the way they control you.
Yeah, I got in contact with my aunt and uncle who are in Boston, Arkansas, not far from Prairie Grove, Arkansas, where I lived for a while after my mom passed, and I'm excited to tell her about, doing this Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, which I have a business and a website, and we do all of our stuff basically for free because I feel like if I charged, I'd be taking advantage, and I just want to help people because there's not a lot of help out there, and she's one of those, backwoods, down south, Bible thumper people, and she's like, what makes you think if you're going in there that God's going to help you when you're doing what he's saying you shouldn't do? And I'm like, God gave me this gift for a reason, and I feel like if I cast it aside and I didn't do anything with it, that would be the true sin instead of, going out and using it to help my fellow man. I don't agree with what she thinks.
Yeah.
And so I don't talk to her anymore because she just made me feel sad and ugly about what I'm doing, and that's not what I should be feeling. I should be feeling proud and happy about what I'm doing, helping these people to get past their fears and their anxieties, either getting to know what's in their house and knowing their name and being able to acknowledge them, or getting rid of this dark entity, which we've done several times. But yeah, like, how dare you make me feel like that? I know God gave me this gift for a reason, and it even says in the Bible that we are given these gifts and we're supposed to be using it in the end times, which I do believe. And, you know, it's been said over and over again through history, kids these days and the world is ending. These are two things that keep happening, but I believe that I'm supposed to be helping people, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not fearing that God is looking down on me for this, because God gave me this gift for a reason. So I'm going to use it to help people. And she can just blow it out her arse.
Yeah. But you got to have some weapons, though, because I figured out some ways to really fight back. Using sage, you could shoot it at them, you know, in the wall, and it makes them sick. Because that light that comes out your arm it's got that smoke that's got that sage in it. So when it goes inside their body, it makes them sick.
Yeah, they don't like the sage, they don't like the sweetgrass, they don't like the Palo Santo, a.k.a. Holywood. They don't like these things if they are dark and wrong.
Oh, you know what? I want to tell you, I almost forgot. You get bitter root, and you get that's what you probably, I need to get that done. You could take this bitter root and put it on you, like on your clothes or whatever, or your skin, and it would stop a bear from eating you.
Nice.
It's that bitter. Yeah. And I told the FBI when I was over there, I said, look, man, we need to grow this bitter root like you growing a vegetable, you know, like for food or marijuana or whatever, you know, mass grow it. And we could make a potion where we could stop these vampire spirits from sucking on us. See, they suck on your skin. They're in your clothes and everything. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And since you doing this stuff, because, see, I don't know when they're going to take me, because I know too much.
Yeah, and we got to go to commercial. I can't believe it's time for a second commercial break, but we'll come back to this right after these messages, so you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Sit back, relax, grab a drink, and listen closely. Spaced Out Radio continues through the weekend. From the mile-high mountains of Colorado to you, listening around the world, this is Spaced Out Weekend with Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's so great to have you guys on. And we still have our caller, Neil, because he's full of so much interesting information. And it's hard for me to let him go because I'm just like, what's coming next? So Neil, welcome back. It's so great to have you on. We had Tara on for tonight, but she started a new job and she totally spaced the show tonight. But, you know, things happen the way they must. And I'm loving tonight's show for sure. So welcome back, Neil. It's so great to have you on.
Yeah, the main thing is I want to get people to learn how to see the spirit world again. This is ancient knowledge that I'm, you know, like remote viewing and meditating and, you know, open the third eye by closing, you know, looking through the eyelids. And like when I was in Mount Shasta, you know, one of my scientific researches, I used a veil. I was looking through different veils, like certain things you look through, you know. And I used a feather in Mount Shasta, and you could see the rainbow beings in the trees, you know, in Mount Shasta in California, Northern California. And I showed, like, what was it, like 10 different groups of people. They could see the rainbow beings, you know. But I wonder if you could film it. You know, I never took a camera, you know, and put a feather in front of it, you know, and see what would happen. You know, what would you see? You know, I don't even. It might even come up on the photograph. You know, so. But that was one of my experiments I did. You know, I do this research because I want to know the truth and I want to be able to see more, you know, and, you know, more stuff. But because I have to prove it. You know, I have to prove the science to people to, you know, so they could believe it. It's not like religion where people just talk a bunch of bull junk and they're lying about everything. And it's like, you know what, you know, it's no science involved in that, you know. It's just religion. Religion's there to make money.
So,
but we had a time where...
Go ahead.
You know, where we have to, you know, show and tell. So science is a real good way of doing it, you know.
Well, on a more serious note, Adnome in the chat room is asking, Neil, how many gnomes fit in your pockets?
How many what?
Gnomes
How many
fit in your
what?
pockets. How many gnomes fit in your pockets?
Oh, they must be talking about the little bitty people.
Yeah, you know, those little bitty guys with the pointy ears and the tall hats, and they run around causing chaos and havoc. How many gnomes fit in your pockets?
I really don't know.
If you were to guesstimate an answer as to the different sizes and shapes and such.
Yeah, you know, I really don't worry about counting them because there's so many of them, actually.
And they kind of disappear and reappear, so it's hard to keep track of how many actually do fit in your pockets. Because once you put so many in there and they start disappearing and reappearing, like, how many do actually fit in your pocket? I don't know.
Well, imagine if some big spirit came and ate them all, and then there's just one. You know?
I know. And Ronald just said that. Tessa, for sure, one.
Oh, this third spirit came and ate all 12 of them, you know? It's like...
Right?
Now there's only one.
I know. I've caught a lot of flack from Dave asking that question to guests. Especially, I had a very serious guest. He's very intellectual and he's very serious, and he just didn't get the question. Most people do, and they laugh about it, and it gives us a point of laughter, and I love laughter because I believe it's the best medicine, and it kind of takes us away from the serious realm that we're in. But yeah, I love asking that question, and I will ask it because I enjoy that dispersion from reality. So we have an unknown number calling in here. Who are we talking to? Who's our unknown caller? Hello? Who's our new caller? Who are we talking to?
That'd be Corey.
Hey, Corey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing awesome. I mean, things didn't go as planned, but I'm loving the show tonight for sure.
Well, you can get all kinds of different stories on and different people going on. You can make it a very interesting show out of things, I can tell you.
For sure. So what are you up to tonight? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we aren't going to go there. But anyways, so, what are you looking for tonight on the show? I'm kind of just tuning in here and stuff, so.
Well, basically our topic was high strangeness in the Four Corners, but I, even in my Facebook Live, I'm saying, even if you're not in the Four Corners, if you're somewhere else, what is your high strangeness? What sort of paranormal, ghosts, hauntings, UFO, aliens, whatever else you've experienced, what are your high strangeness stories that you'd like to share with us?
Oh man, where to start? Well, I think probably, I can start with stuff from when I was a kid. I mean, I remember living in an old farmhouse one time where, I saw a spirit of some type. I don't know. It was more, it kind of acted like a shadow going across the wall, but it went straight through the room. I don't know what that was.
I think that was Neil. Neil, if you can mute yourself for a minute, that'd be cool.
So, yeah, saw that spirit, walk out of one wall and across a room and through and into another wall. That kind of, and the interesting thing was I was never scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
Never frightened me in any manner. I also remember when I was very young, I don't know, 9 years old, maybe 10, being out camping. And, I live here in Washington, and we have Mount Baker out here. And I remember seeing a UFO up over Baker. It was quite interesting. It was kind of a bright red ball. Just kind of hovered there next to the mountain, and it stayed there for a minute, and then it kind of moved to the left a little bit and shot straight up in the air. It's an interesting experience.
And that was in Washington, right?
Yep, that's in Washington.
Hey, Neil, can you mute your mic for a minute?
What?
Neil, can you mute your mic for a minute? Yeah. That way we're not getting that background noise.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm moving around. I wonder if I could do that.
Yeah, just push on your screen or whatever you're on, and you'll see the microphone. Just push on it, and I'll put a slash through it, and then we won't get all that background noise. And then we can hear Corey's stories, and I'm so interested and intrigued to hear them. And like you were saying, you saw the spirit going through the wall and out or in, but you didn't fear it because there was really no reason to, although it's unknown, and the unknown, a lot of people fear. You didn't feel like you needed to because it really didn't have any harm towards you, basically.
No, it didn't. I mean, it was just, I figured it was either a spirit that was either attached to today I figured that. I didn't know that then, but I figured today, it was just, it was a spirit that was either attached to the land or possibly attached, to the home, whatever it may be, something from a past time. Like I said, it was an old farmhouse. But yeah, I mean, I never really had any fear of it. Of course, I've never really had a lot of fear of the unknown. So, It didn't bother me. It intrigued me more, actually. It intrigued me even, when I saw the UFO up over Baker as well. My experiences have expanded considerably since being in the paranormal field. I've been with one other team before, and now me and some very close friends, which are more like family to me, and we've got our own, the Paranormal Hunters Astral and Research Services. And we've done a ton of cases, and I can't tell you how many different things that we have come across.
I know, and you guys are like so very new, and you just have case after case after case, and I'm wanting to partake as part of the team, but at the same time I'm working this job and such, and I'm like, I can't really delve in at this moment. I want to give you my full-fledged attention when I can, but right now I can't. But I see you guys on there all the time working all these cases, and I want to give you kudos because you guys are rocking it for sure.
Yeah, we're trying. You're trying. It is what it is. Your life comes first. This is, our team is purely a volunteer thing. I mean, it's not like somebody's getting paid or anything. So it's, you got to take care of yourself and your family first. It's all good.
Yeah.
But, I think we've had, since September, we've had 66 cases.
I know, it's been amazing.
Yeah, I actually took a count this evening as we were going over some of our resources and tidying a few things up for getting close to the end of the year. But it's been quite an experience, and I mean we have ran into everything just about doing this. So all different forms of entities and spirits. Came across a few demons, some aliens. It's been quite interesting. It's amazing some of the stuff you'll see, especially when you do astral travel on the astral plane.
I know you guys came into my house a couple times and got rid of the angry spirit in my hallway, and then everything was fine, and then all of a sudden my 17-year-old dog was being shoved into the toilet, basically, and trying to fight for her life because she's not ready to give up, and I had my 14-year-old Nova trying to pull her out of the toilet, and she's screaming for help, and generally I'm a light sleeper, but whatever it was didn't want me to hear what was going on. I did not hear anything. Generally, a flick of a light switch or whatever, somebody walking into my room, I'd hear, but my daughter's screaming for help, and I could not hear her because this thing didn't want me to, and you guys came in and checked it out. It wasn't just her, it was my 14-year-old nephew trying to get this dog out of the toilet, which she can't even get up these 3-inch steps by herself because she's so stiff and arthritic, and all of a sudden she's stuck and shoved in this toilet trying to be drowned, and they're pulling these two 14-year-old teenagers that are very, very strong and healthy, trying to pull this dog out of the toilet. They can't do it, and all of a sudden, whatever it was shoving her in there let go, and they fling the dog across the bathroom, and it was just insanity, and then you guys found a wraith in there and got rid of it. It was just amazing, and since you guys did that, and I put the bells on my doors, I put bells on all my doors, I saged, I did all the things that I needed to do, and everything's been kosher ever since, but I'm so grateful for your help, and it was awesome having you guys in here astrally to take care of this issue that I could not take care of on my own.
Well, and it's we're a big family too, and it's we got to take care of our own as well as taking care of other people as well. We got to make sure everybody's safe and everything's good in your homes. And the interesting thing is too is you can go into a place and take care of something, and it's you can miss something that either has hidden itself extremely well, or something that passes through from somewhere else can come in. It's not always just a one shot and everything is done perfect. It's just that's not how the spirit and astral world works, unfortunately. But, I'm glad that we were able to get that taken care of. I'm glad things are calm and nice, and hey, that's all that counts. Being able to have your home as your own.
Right. It's been all good, except for the teenage angst going on. But otherwise, we don't have that outside energy coming in, causing more contention and chaos. I mean, people before in our household, teenagers, adults, little bitty ones from 3 years old up, were just hateful and ugly to each other, and it's just this energy that was not acceptable, that was never really there before, and it's like, where is this coming from? I don't understand what's going on. What has happened? And then I realized it's an outside entity coming in, because not only am I gifted, my kids are gifted, so things are attracted to us, and then you guys coming in and helping us really helped. And I don't know, I feel kind of ashamed, because I can go out and help other people with their stuff, but when it comes to my house, I'm afraid to do anything because I'm afraid to cause any sort of backlash or whatnot. And having that astral team come in and take care of it really made me feel at peace and at ease, and it really did take care of what I needed.
Well, then that's awesome. I'm glad we were able to do that, and that's basically what we're here for. That's what we do. Is when you, even some of the most experienced people, occasionally will run across something that they can't take care of. And it's always good to have somebody else that you can get a hold of to come in and check things out and take care of that. And that's why we're here. That's what we do. We do it because we care for people. We want people to be able to live peacefully and have their homes and not have the crap scared out of them and everything else, not have their lives being turned upside down. So, we're here. Anybody can contact us, and we'll, come in, take a look, and help out wherever we can. We deal with basically emergencies, people who are at that point that they just don't know what else to do, or scared crapless, and or having other things happen,
Well, yeah, and it is kind of off-putting when it is your own home, and like you said, I didn't know how to deal with this entity. I'd never come across a wraith, and like Donna said, that was her first time. There was another party in the team that said it was her second time dealing with one of those, but I had no idea how to deal with something like that, and they basically tore it to shreds and sent it back to wherever the hell it came from, and it was such a relief to me, because no matter what I would have done, I think it would have made it worse, and I knew that internally that I could not help what was going on. I could not do anything to help that situation besides let them come in, take care of it, and then put bells on my doors, which I even told my nephew that we adopted on Easter. I'm putting these bells on your doors, and I told him why, and he's like, oh yeah, that's all good. Yeah, go ahead. And so I put it on his door as well, and everything's been pretty kosher except for teenagers not listening to what you tell them. But yeah, it's been very nice since, and I really appreciate you guys. But yeah, you're talking about your experience with the basically the person in your house as a child. Did you have any other entities or experiences in your life that brought you to this point in your life where you're doing these things for other people?
Not too many, honestly. And, each person has their ability to build up shields around themselves that protects themselves from many things, actually. I mean, you can use those shields to protect yourself. So in my case, I'm very empathic. Always have been, and it's a blessing and a curse, just to put that out there. And I ended up having to learn how to build shields to be able to hold out everybody else's emotions, because you get out into some place that's really crowded and it's overwhelming. Mm-hmm. But you can build those shields, and those shields are protective, and they'll protect you from spirits and entities and emotions of other people and so on and so forth. So over time, I'll be honest, life for me as a kid was a little tough. And I think you have a phone call. Basically I just I worked really hard to build those shields up. So I didn't really have a ton of more paranormal experiences, but it did keep my curiosity going on a regular. And off and on throughout, as I was growing up and doing stuff, I look into paranormal happenings, stuff like that. Seen a few things in the sky that you couldn't explain, that kept my interest going. And then it just happened to be at one point that we had a Paracon here in our area. Excuse me. Pardon me. It gave me an opportunity to get more deeply involved in something that I had a little bit of passion about, but didn't realize how passionate I was about it. I've been with a couple of different paranormal teams up to this point. The first one was less of any astral type work and was more of your, I guess you would call it boots on ground kind of investigation and dealing with things. My second was both the boots on ground and astral projection, dealing with things. And now, basically here, like I say, with some friends, we've got ours started. And it's just about purely, we actually haven't had any boots on ground cases. And, we may at some point, we may do some, but it's mostly astral travel investigation and combat. And, the upside of that is that, we can take care of things that are far away, that we don't have to drive there. We don't have to physically go there. We have that opportunity to be able to reach out and help other people at far distances, even other countries, without ever actually having to physically be on the ground there. That's quite an incredible feat, and I've got a team that is incredible. Work together so great, just a family. We had a case recently that was had a lot of really nasty stuff, including some demons. And we were able to go in, multiple astral people into a case and be able to work seamlessly and get the job done and, help the people out. And their lives have improved and greatly since. And it was a great thing for us, a great feeling for us to be able to do that.
Sorry, I'm so grateful that you guys are there to do that and be able to help people because it's so important, so very important.
And it's a great honor to be able to do it. I mean, just to know, that you've brought some peace into somebody's life that has had great chaos from something that they couldn't control, and that's the thing of it too, is that, on the physical plane of stuff, there can be things that are bothering you and causing all kinds of problems. You can't see them. You don't know what they are. You can't really, unless you have gifts and stuff, you may not even really understand what's going on or what's there. And, that upside is being able to go in from the astral side is you can see all of this stuff. You can see what's there.
Well, Char's asking, how did you guys get rid of demons?
There is a variety of way that it's done. I mean, in the astral side of things, you can open up a portal and kick something into a void that it'll never come back from. Mm-hmm. And some of them you can take them out on the astral side with a sword. It's you get rid of them. It's not what everybody imagines of holy water and ceremonies from a priest that, exorcisms to get rid of these things. No, it's not always just that. I mean, some of that stuff works, I'm sure.
Well,
I've
it's
never
funny
seen it
because,
personally, but
like you're saying, a lot of times they'll call and say, you need to have a paranormal team come in first, and then we'll come in and take care of the rest of it. So it's important that you guys are there to do that work because you are very integral to taking care of this stuff.
yeah, we can generally take care of everything, purely from our side. If you want to have somebody come in on the ground afterward and bless the house, hey, that's great. Any little bit of extra protection can be a good thing. But the one thing that I never recommend that anybody does, and I've seen people do this, is they take the religious scattergun at it, was what I call them. They pick something from this religion, something from that religion, something from religion over here, and they try to get rid of whatever in their house. Well, generally what happens is they use all that stuff and they just kind of make whatever is there angry. Basically how it works is keeping your house clear, or getting rid of something, is you've got to have something that you have a good solid belief in, because it's your belief and willpower that really creates the energy to make something go away.
Mm-hmm.
On the physical side of things, or to keep things clean, keeping those vibrations up.
Well, that's awesome, and like I said before, I'm so grateful for you guys and what you're doing and for your team, and I'm so glad you called in tonight with your experiences and different stories that you have gone through as far as your team goes. It's been a very interesting and crazy ride, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's always a crazy ride. You never know when you get somebody who's messaging you saying, hey, something really weird and crazy is going on in here in my life. You never know what you're going to step into. That's the thing, you go out there to check it out. And it could be something you've never seen before. But, is driving this person crazy. And so, sometimes it's trying to get things taken care of is just on the fly. Figuring out what it is. Sometimes you have to do research on the fly. That's why we have a great team. We've got people that we can, message on the side and say, hey, here's what I see, what I know. Can you do some research real quick? And we've got great people that are able to do research on the fly, find out what's going on, get a pretty good idea of what we're dealing with, and get back to our people who are which I would say are in the field by technicality, even though they're still here at home. But it's an awesome thing, and the nice thing is that we have a really great post-care team of people that can help the clients deal with that aftermath, give them the tools to take back their home, keep things clean, keep the vibrations high, and make their lives a little easier.
And I've certainly witnessed that on my own, watching the chat as you guys are working together, and like you said, you're just ping-ponging off of each other, and one person's looking this up, and it's not even 3 minutes later, like, the information's coming up because somebody found it, and you guys just work amazingly together, and it's a really awesome group, and I really love you guys and all the amazing and astounding work that you're doing. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Oh, I appreciate that, and we've worked really hard. We really have. When we got this thing started, we looked at it and we said, we want to do something that's different than anything that we've experienced or known before, as far as teams go. And we said that, hey, we want to get these things, this thing put together so that it's seamless for everyone. Everybody knows what's happening. There's no confusion. Everybody can, if we have to have a multiple-person case going on, we can have everybody go in there and take care of stuff and never have to worry about it, Everybody's kept in the loop. Everybody's kept safe. Everybody watches everyone's back.
Mm-hmm.
Makes for a great team that works together really, really well. And I think Ron earlier asked how many gnomes I could fit in my pocket, and the answer is I'm not gonna put any gnomes in my pocket. However, I may put a few of them in envelopes and send them to Dave because I know he loves them so much.
He does. That's a good answer. You never know what they're going to bite at or whatever when they're in your pocket, so it's better to put them in an envelope and send them away.
Yeah, I'll just send him off to Dave. Dave can take care of him. I know he's got a gnome farm up there. Yeah, he says he hates him, but I know he's got a farm of them up there. I'm sure he does.
I think he's got a love-hate relationship, and he's learned to accept them recently. So,
really, I haven't heard too much lately. I've kind of missed some of the Spaced Out radio shows. I have to be honest. I haven't listened as much as I'd like to. But
yeah, first he was fearful of them. Now he's not so shy. I think Ad Gnome helped him to get over his fear of gnomes. So yeah, he's doing better now for sure.
Good old Ad Gnome.
That's right.
Keeping Dave on his toes and getting him over the fear of him. All right. Good on you, man.
By subjecting him every day to gnomes, he's gotten him over the fear. So he's more accepting now.
Right on.
No, thanks so much for calling in. I loved hearing from you and about your different experiences and your team. Your team is amazing, and I'm so grateful for you guys. And can't wait to work with you guys after, I think it's May when I should get off this job and I can go into aftercare and help with all this other stuff. But I'm so grateful for you guys and helping me and other people that are just kind of struggling with this stuff. Like, what do? I don't know what to do. So kudos to you guys, and I'm so grateful for you and all the stuff you've done.
And, we appreciate you and everything you do, too. So, really, and we're excited for when that time comes that you're able to step over and pick up some of those cases, because I know you can do such a great job. So,
well, thank you so much, Corey. It was so great to hear from you tonight. For sure.
Hey, not a problem. Hopefully you got another caller on the line here. So
we do. We got area code 425. Good night.
All
Good
right.
night, Corey. Good to hear from you.
I'm going to bid you good night then.
I do. Okay, so area code 425, I believe it's Sir Robin. And you said you had just remembered something that you wanted to share. So, what is that?
Yeah, so you probably know who Ross Allison is by now.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mentor of mine. So he has his headquarters called Spooked in Seattle, and his place is haunted. So he has there's this little girl ghost that's there, and he bought this doll for her that has this music box that's broken, but she's able to make it work. And I've never heard play music, but so every 2 weeks he has meetings there. So I went down there to go for a meeting, and that was an hour early.
Mm-hmm.
So I was reading a book, and I had a cell phone in my right hand, and I felt something that touched my right hand that had my cell phone in it, and I think it was her, because I think she was interested in my cell phone.
Yeah, she's like, what is that?
And because it felt like a child's hand touching my wrist. Because you know how children are interested in things, you know?
They are, especially electronics. I can tell you that with my kids in the house. They are so interested in electronics. So yeah. She's like, hey, let me see that. What is that? Let me play with that. Can I play with that toy?
Yeah, so that was actually very interesting.
Well, I'm so glad you called back in with that experience. So what did you do? Did you just carry on? Did you kind of put it out there for her to play with? What exactly happened after that?
So I just carry on reading after that, even though that I did notice it.
Well, perhaps next time you could put your cell phone out there and see if she does actually play with it, because spirits have been known to interface and play with keyboards and computers and cell phones, and so it'd be interesting to see if next time she does try to take control of it and see what she looks up. There was this case that I was looking at that this guy was living in an apartment. He kept getting these different things happening, and then all of a sudden the mouse was moving around on his computer, and he had tried to look repeatedly for the history of this place he was looking or living in, and he was looking for answers, and every time he tried to, it cut out, like my computer has done before, even on the show. And him and his son and his other children saw this mouse moving around, and then all of a sudden it pulled up this fire that had happened in his apartment that burned up not only this father but his daughter, and they finally made it known to him what had actually happened there. So it'd be interesting if she could go and use your cell phone, if you put it out there for her to use, and let you know what her story is and what she's trying to put across. That'd be so cool.
Yeah. But but also we'll say that this spirit was here before. So when Russell Allison was bought the place, see this doll is on a chair. So when Russell Allison bought the place, he was cleaning it out. So he actually found this chair and put it in this one place, and it was moving from different places. And since he was too busy cleaning things out, he thought he was just displacing things. So he found this piece of chalk and put a circle around it.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually knew it actually moved, and that's how he found out that there's actually a little girl's spirit in there.
That's interesting. And Shar was saying, does anyone else hear the squeaky noise off and on? So maybe she's still trying to come through. Even though you're not there where she was, maybe she's trying to come through. And if we listen to it under different equipment or apps or whatnot, we might hear what she's trying to say.
What do you mean? What does she mean by squeaky?
I don't know. She said, does anyone else hear that squeaky noise off and on? It's an off and on noise. And Susan said, yes, annoying. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you have the show playing in the background and it's background noise coming through, or if something else is trying to come through and share a message. So that'd be interesting to find out. And there's a couple apps that I can share with you as far as EVPs and such go, and you can kind of clean up the noise and such and see what exactly is trying to come through. Perhaps she followed you home. Who knows? But it's pretty interesting. But yeah, next time you go there, put your cell phone out there and let her kind of try to take control of it, and perhaps she can pull something up for you as far as her history and why she's stuck there.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably do that.
That'd be so cool. And Joe Monk said it sounded like something trying to scrape its way out of a metal box. So perhaps that was her trying to come through. It's pretty intriguing, I must say. But yeah, keep on doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to come out there to Washington and visit my brother and come do some paranormal investigations with you and see what we can find.
And there's something else that I wanted to share.
Okay.
That I was on the USS Turner Joy, which is highly haunted, and so right now it got turned into a museum. So I was at if you spend about $75, you could spend one night on there, and I tell you, it is something different to spend a night on there than just going on there for 2 hours.
For sure. If you can stay overnight, you get way more information than just going in there, like you said, for a couple of hours.
Yeah. So what happened to you, there was 2 different rooms, but so I think it was I forgot what it's called, but it was a room where you we were able to eat. So so there was this. I saw this shadow walk by, and I got an EVP of an officer walking by. I actually heard footsteps, and they were very heavy footsteps.
Yeah, and I was talking to you about this before, and I was like, hey, can we go and investigate and blah, blah, blah. There's certain places you can't go, but there's a lot of places you can. And so there's just a plethora, I said it twice now, of things that you could encompass and acknowledge and partake in and get information. So it'd be really awesome.
And there's this room. Also, there's this spirit that doesn't. There's tons of these rooms. So I was with my friend Scott. And this other investigator that I was with.
Mm-hmm.
That's on Ross's team. So I had this idea to lay in one of the beds that was this room is haunted, and I had this idea to take a flashlight, and I said, "Do you want me in this in your bed or not?" And so what I said is, for yes, if you want me to not me to be in your bed, if no, and so, and it started blinking like really fast, like rapidly, to not want me to be in its bed.
Right? It's like, get the heck out of here.
Yeah. So that was very cool.
That's super awesome. I'm so excited to go out there and, hang out with you and my brother and bring my equipment and see what we can find.
Yeah, that's about what else I have to share.
So Adnan was saying, why call it investigating and not experiencing? But it's the same thing, like you're experiencing and investigating at the same time, and you're using different equipment and techniques, and you find different things and acknowledgments. So it's pretty interesting what you can find, and that's what I love, not just finding the spirits, but finding their stories and trying to figure out why they're here still. and trying to pass them over. And a lot of people say it's a trap, like BTO and such. It's a trap. Why are you trying to pass them over? Well, we're not meant to be here forever. We're meant to go somewhere else. Whether it's a recycling of spirits or something else, we all have our different agendas. We just really don't know what it is until we do.
But the most interesting thing was that the night we did this on was 4th of July. And Ross was thinking maybe that will awaken some activity because it's 4th of July.
So what happened? Was it because of all the energy going on with the fireworks and such, or is it just the date in general that is causing all this activity to act up? Like, what exactly does the 4th of July have to do with it?
No, it was just a guess of his. Because they're patriotic, so 4th of July, you know. So that was just one thought he had.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm so glad you called back in to share these other stories, because it's another story to be shared between each other, and it makes me more excited to come back out to the West and do some investigating.
Yeah. Well, good talking to you again.
You too, Sir Robin, and I hope you join us for the after party. And that's the same number as everybody calls into, 970-335-9596. And I'm so glad you did call in again, and I know you were skeptical of doing it because of certain rules that are laid down, but it's a very interesting story. So thanks so much for calling in again.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, Sir Robin. All right, so we have T-minus 6 minutes and counting. Hey, Bougie, welcome. Okay, so is Neil still on?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, so glad you hung in there. I know you had to be muted for a little bit because of the background noise, but I'm so glad you're still here. And your stories have been pretty interesting, so, yeah,
I was listening to the other guy. Did he go to your house and get rid of some bad spirits or something?
Yeah, they actually came in astrally and got rid of some stuff. There was a ghost that was stuck in my hallway, and I had different psychics telling me there's an angry spirit in your hallway, and he bangs on the walls, and he punches things, and this and this and that and that. And I've had roommates in here. My roommate, Brian, he was sleeping on the daybed, and he said, "Did you come in and punch the couch and then take off, or what? Like, somebody punched the couch." And I was like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Somebody came in and punched the couch, and I sat up right away. I looked around. I didn't see anybody, but it woke me up." And they got rid of that spirit, and then everything was calm for a little bit. And then my dog Gilly, she's 17 years old. She was stuffed in the toilet. Something was trying to drown her. And my daughter Nova found her because she heard some sort of excitement in the bathroom, like something trying to get out. And she went in there and tried to pull her out. She couldn't do it. And she was screaming for help. Davy Joe, my nephew that I took custody of, he came in. He's trying to help. So 2 14-year-olds trying to pull out this 40-pound little bitty dog. She used to be bigger, but she's old and just withering away every day. Every day you see more weight coming off of her. But they're trying to pull her out, and they couldn't. Something was shoving her in the toilet. And eventually, whatever it was, let go, and it kind of flung her across the bathroom. The pressure and shit they were putting on her. I'm sorry, I just cussed. But the pressure and stuff they were putting on her to get her out flung her across the bathroom. And they were like, oh my gosh. And they were really freaked out by it. She even came into my bedroom screaming, I need help, I need help. And I did not hear anything. Something was keeping me from hearing it. And like I said, like when I was in the Marine Corps, just a flick of the switch, the light switch on the wall, I was awake. Hearing people come into my room, I wake up. But I did not hear her screaming for help. Something did not want me to hear it. And so it was just crazy. But yeah, they came in and found out it was a wraith. And it didn't like that the dogs were onto it, the animals. One of our dogs was lifted up to the ceiling. He's a pretty large mastiff, almost 100 pounds, lifted up to the ceiling. And he's now 6 years old. My son saw this dog lifted up to the ceiling and then dropped. And it was just really weird and crazy things happening. But they got rid of it, and I put bells on my doors. I saged after they came in, and it was an astral team. They didn't come in physically, but they came in astrally and tore it up and sent it back to where it came from.
Yeah, I don't deal with a lot of that stuff, you know. I wish I was there for that girl they talked about. Was it in Germany or something? She was possessed by the devil and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather go over there. I'd rather do something like that, you know. Someone that's really... Because that spirit was attacking that girl physically and stuff, too, you know.
Yeah, she ended up dying from it, right?
Yeah, she died,
That was sad.
But that was a long time ago. But if they ever have something like that happening, I'd love to go there, you know, and deal with it. Because I could tell when I saw the photo. I don't know if that was the real photographs I saw of that girl. I think it was, but. Darn, that spirit wanted to consume that girl bad.
Oh, it really did, too. It sucked her up until she was skin and bones, really. If you want to be honest about it.
Yeah, I would have been in a big battle with that thing, I tell you, whatever it was. I think the girl was special. She must have been something that was from, a reincarnation of somebody that was, very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they went after her, I think.
Well, now we're actually...
That's why they're after...
Yeah, that is why they're after us. But we're at the end of our show. But if you want to hang on, we're doing an after party, which we do every night after the show. But I'm so grateful you were here tonight, and you filled in a lot of time for us, and I'm so glad you were here to share your experiences and your stories.
Yeah, but, if you learn the scientific research I've done, you could teach people how to see the other dimension. And that's the big thing I got to do is teach them how to see, teach people, how to really see them in the, astral plane.
Well, how can people get a hold of you to learn these things?
Well, I'm on Twitter and Facebook, but I started doing my Twitter just about 3 weeks ago, or maybe 4 weeks, and I'm putting it on Twitter. That way they know how to learn how to see, because they're in the trees. You could see them in the walls. If you aim at your wall with your right eye, like you're shooting your eye at something at the wall, and move
move your eye back and forth, move. You actually got to think about it, because no one.
Well, thank you so much, Neil, for being on tonight. It was so wonderful having you on the show this evening. And if you hang on, I'd love to have you on the after party. And I want to thank everyone in Spaced Out Radio, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, Paranormal Radio, Deep Talk Radio, and wherever else you're listening tonight. I had a wonderful time this evening, and it was my pleasure, literally and figuratively, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend on Spaced Out Radio at spacedoutradio.com. Until next time, nighty-night, love and light to all my space cases out there. You guys have a wonderful week. Don't work too hard, and I'll see you back here next weekend. Don't forget, we are all in this together, and together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we own the night.